Welcome to Daily Series, COVID-19 Special. How do COVID-19 vaccines work? Unlike traditional vaccines, such as the flu vaccine, Pfizer and Moderna's COVID-19 vaccines don't use a weakened, inactivated form of the virus to trigger an immune response. Both vaccines use a genetic molecule called messenger RNA, mRNA. Instructions contained within the mRNA cause cells in the body to produce a harmless piece of what is called a spike protein, resembling the spike protein on the surface of the coronavirus. The cells display the protein piece on their surfaces, prompting an immune response that includes the production of antibodies, which remain in the blood system ready to launch a defense against coronavirus infection. How do we know the COVID-19 vaccines are safe? Vaccines are studied to look at two things: are they safe and are they effective? COVID-19 vaccine trials involve tens of thousands of volunteers to assess safety and effectiveness. The final Phase 3 trial of Pfizer's vaccine enrolled 43,661 participants. To make sure a COVID-19 vaccine is safe, researchers look for common side effects among trial participants. Just like with the flu shot, these vaccines cause you to have soreness at the site of the injection, and for a day or so afterward you may feel tired and achy. These are recognized risk factors. Researchers also assess whether people in the trial become ill, because in rare cases, some types of vaccines can make people sicker instead of less sick, and that's considered an adverse event. That isn't the case with the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. If a person gets COVID-19 after being inoculated, they actually get a milder case, which is further evidence of vaccine safety. Although these large trials offered enough evidence of safety to earn an EUA, one challenge is the very rare events that happen with any vaccine, which may affect 1 in 100,000 people or even 1 in a million. That's why these vaccines will have what's called post-marketing surveillance. What is post-marketing surveillance? It means that once the vaccines begin rolling out, public health experts will use a number of measures to identify, track any safety issues. If these are identified, then that will trigger a change in the way the vaccine is given. There have been reports of people having allergic reactions to the Pfizer vaccine, such as tongue swelling and difficulty breathing. All the patients who have had such a reaction so far have been treated and recovered. Precautions are in place to ensure that people can receive immediate medical attention in the case of a serious allergic reaction. The CDC recommends that people who have a history of anaphylaxis, severe allergic reaction, due to any cause remain under medical observation for 30 minutes after vaccination, everyone else, 15 minutes. How well do COVID-19 vaccines work? The Pfizer vaccine is estimated to be 95% effective. The Moderna vaccine 94.1% effective. For a vaccine to be 95% effective means that out of every 100 trial volunteers who became infected with the coronavirus in the weeks and months after receiving a shot, 95 were in the group that got a placebo, a saltwater injection, and only 5 were in the group that got the vaccine. So all the participants have the same risk of getting infected. But the acquisition of infection is much lower in patients with the vaccine. The very high efficacy rates of the vaccines was surprising news. The FDA Guidance on vaccines, released before the completion of Phase 3 trials, stated that any approved vaccine would be expected to prevent disease, decrease its severity in at least 50% of the people who are vaccinated. How long will a person be protected after getting the COVID-19 vaccine? It's going to take time to figure that out. There's no crystal ball. The first patient to get a vaccine got their injection about 6 months ago. So we don't know if immunity lasts any longer than that. Will people have to get the shot every year as with the flu shot? We don't know that either. People who get a COVID-19 vaccine will be monitored over time, which will help researchers understand how long immunity against the virus will last. If someone already had COVID-19, will they need a vaccine? It's still recommended that people get a vaccine whether they've had COVID-19 in the past or whether they've had tests to show that they have antibodies. Antibodies are a sign that a person had COVID-19 in the past and recovered. That's because to have protection against COVID-19 you not only have to have antibodies, but you have to have enough antibodies. What we know is that many people, particularly those who had mild disease, have antibodies, but they are at very low levels. So they may not have enough to fully protect them from reinfection. Another reason for people who may have had the virus already to get immunized is that there's evidence to suggest that over time that this antibody level may drop a bit. There's no downside to getting the vaccine, it will actually boost the responses that the person will already have. Those patients may have even higher antibody responses after the vaccine, giving them a longer duration of protection. How long do I need to wait to be vaccinated? The availability of vaccine is expected to improve over time. But it's estimated that there will only be anywhere from 5 to 20 million doses available to inoculate people per week for the next several months. We have 360 million Americans that we need to vaccinate. Each person needs 2 doses. It's very easy to do the math. Realize that it's going to take a long time to get people vaccinated. The wait also depends on how effective vaccine programs are around the country. Each state and locality is setting up its own system. And so that will probably mean that some areas do it better than others. Staffing could also present some challenges. Health departments are in the middle of the largest peak so far of COVID-19 cases and hospitals are overflowing with patients, and so everyone's trying to juggle a lot of things. Will children be able to be vaccinated? The FDA approved the Pfizer vaccine for people who are 16 and older. The Moderna vaccine for those who are 18 and older. Vaccine studies involving younger children are due to begin soon. This is how it generally works in all vaccine development and drug development. Because if a big problem in adults is observed, you would want to prevent that from happening in more vulnerable children. That means we won't understand the safety of the vaccine in children for a while longer. The good news is the virus seems to cause less severe infection in the majority of children. They can still experience pretty significant disease. So it is important to protect them, but since the impact on them is less than in the adults, an older adult population, the priority for vaccinations is appropriately placed on those higher risk patients. What could happen if a large percentage of people don't get the vaccine? It's estimated that between 60 and 80% of the population will need to be vaccinated for COVID-19 to achieve herd immunity. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you on my next video.